We just got the 38 million that we keep referring to. That was the governor's upstate airport initiative. There was almost 200 million, actually it was 190 million, I believe, in funding that was available for upstate airports to apply for. There's been 4 airports selected so far: us, Elmira Corning, Ithaca. No, not Ithaca. Excuse me, I strike that. It was not Ithaca. It was Elmira, Syracuse, and Rochester. And then us, obviously, there was those 4 airports, and we each received approximately 35 to 40 million dollars for projects at our airports. Our project's a little bit different than theirs because theirs is largely terminal related, doing terminal improvements. We just finished that up. I mean, we did that. We did that. I guess venture speculative construction type of thing. We did that early on and took that upon ourselves to do it.
Okay.
So which would have been a great award, great grant application for us if we had not already done it. So we're looking at, okay, what else can we do? The grant solicitation was a kind of a twofold. It was enhance the passenger experience, which is the terminal, and then enhance other aspects of the airport, which is what the avenue we took with the aerospace industrial campus, and looking at that piece of it and saying, okay, we've done all this. What else can we do on the airport to make this more of a economic driver for the region? So we came up with a pretty substantial application, submitted it, and obviously they liked what they saw because they awarded us the money to do it. So we've got, when you break the projects down into their individual pieces, there's about 16 different projects that we have going on, and they go across the entire airport, not just here. We do have some things here at the airport, like the connector corridor for the gate, the concessions build out, the parking lot renovation. We've got some site prep for the hotel. We're looking at a potential hotel on site. We've got some site prep for that was included, a multimodal facility for basically a bus station on site. We've got our car rentals. They want to be able to have a facility where they can go clean their vehicles and turn them and get them back on the line to re-rent them. They call them a quick turn area or quick turn facility. We're working with them. We have a building that we're going to renovate so they can use that as a consolidated facility. We've got some projects down the ramp that are a variety of renovations for some hangars that we have, some other building renovations for some industrial type prospective tenants, some new construction. We have a cargo distribution and receiving facility that we're looking to build, a general aviation customs facility, and a 60,000 square foot building that we're partnering with the Development Corporation on for getting some tenants in here, and then some building demolition or site prep, depending on demolition / site prep of some buildings that are here that have really outlived their useful life, and we just need to do something with them. So because they're not usable right now, so rather than just have them be an eyesore, we're gonna.
And the hotel, where does that project stand? Are they looking for hotels to bid on the area?
We put an RFP out a while back. We also did a feasibility study. We're in the process of updating that feasibility study, and we've had some interest. We've been in some ongoing discussions with several potential developers. I would have to say that the person you probably would be better served to discuss that with would be somebody at the government center, like Rodney Brown, because he's been more involved in that than honestly I have. So he would be able to give you better information on that. And I'm not trying to throw that on to him, but I mean I want to make sure that the information you get is the most correct, because like I said, that's something that's been kind of the Division of Labor. They've been working on that one to a large extent downtown. So. I don't want to misspeak on it, so I'd rather let them answer to that. So.
Yeah. Is there, with getting an award like you did for the state, is there a deadline that they're saying?
Oh, absolutely.
Want this done?
Oh, yes. There's no good deed goes unpunished. So we have, this is one of those, this project it's transformational. A lot of, they're asking us to do some things, they being the state, look at efficiencies, look at how we can do things new, better, more efficient, to cut down on the time. We are, the desired completion date for this is latter part of 2018. We are working diligently to make that happen. We are in weekly discussions with New York State Department of Transportation, who is overseeing the project on the state's behalf. Weekly conference calls with them, with an engineering firm that they've retained this to assist them, because they're not only working with us, they're working with 3 other airports in the state of New York on similar projects. Our engineering firms, because we have 2 engineering firms that we're actually working with on this project. Again, Division of Labor, we've got McFarland Johnson, who worked, did the terminal expansion. They're working on several projects up on this end of the airport, and then CNS Engineers out of Syracuse is working on the balance of the projects down the ramp. So, a lot of moving parts to the discussions, a lot of work that's been done, a lot of work that's that needs to still be done, and we are looking at ways of doing this efficiently, smartly, and getting it moving and getting it done.
Yeah. What's going to be with all these changes? What will be the things that will benefit travelers directly, like the deal with this will help everything?
As far as with that project specifically, or
with any of the, I guess, changes that have been made, what's going to help?
Well, obviously with the terminal itself, I mean, we've increased the size, and we've eliminated a lot of the constraints that we had. I mean, if you've ever been in here when the old terminal was here, you get a couple flights worth of Allegiant flights or Spirit flights coming in with 150, 175 passengers. This place gets crowded real quick, because you've got 2 flights going out, 2 flights worth of passengers trying to get out. You've got 2 flights of passengers trying to get in. So you've got essentially 4 plane loads of passengers all in one space at the same time, and it got real crowded real quick, which was one of the driving forces for why we did what we did. So when you look around, that's one big change. A lot more streamlined, a lot more enhances the passenger traveling experience with the check-in, with getting through the checkpoint. I mean, the checkpoint is there's two lanes for to go through security. There's provisions for a third. So as far as any of the lines, any of the backups that you see at other airports, we very rarely have those issues here. As far as passengers having to wait long wait times. So it's and that's a credit to TSA, because they really do a phenomenal job of getting people through people through the checkpoints efficiently without compromising security. So I give them a lot of credit. They got a tough job. As far as the other the other projects, again, a bus station. One of the recurring concerns raised to us is the inability for people to take the bus from wherever to get here. It's not convenient. We've been in ongoing discussions with Adirondack Trailways. They're very much interested in the fact that we're going to have a multimodal facility here that they can utilize. We're in ongoing discussions with them on what that's going to look like. We're partnering with them. So that is another area that we can utilize that's going to enhance the travel experience for the public. Obviously, the concessions build out, having the ability to have food, sit down type atmosphere for food out on the concourse. That's certainly something that we've got a lot of feedback on, solicited and unsolicited. So parking lot, obviously, we've done a lot of work out there. There's still a lot of work that needs to be done. The concrete that's out there now is from when the Air Force was here. It's 14 inches thick. It was built for a different purpose than what it's being used for now. So we need to, it's time to renovate it or rehabilitate it and repave it. So that's, again, those are obviously, all geared towards the passenger experience. So.
You mentioned a deadline is in 2018. Is that for customs and cargo port and all of these things?
The projects that I mentioned that we are doing under the $38 million grant award, it has been highly encouraged to us to have those projects done by end of 2018.
So those might take priority over other things.
Well, no, this is gonna be a very tightly choreographed dance, if you will, because we've got a lot of projects that are gonna happen in a very short period of time. Those projects never, and plus we've got ongoing projects on the airport. We have projects that are already on an annual basis that we have with FAA, that we have program projects with them. Because while all that's going on and the customs facility is going on, we're getting ready to do some FAA funded projects out on the airport. We've got some fencing that's going to be put in. We've got, we're looking at doing some runway. Our entire runway is going to have to get repaved. We're in the initial phases of that. So we've got all those projects that we already have programmed, plus finishing up this terminal, plus all the other stuff that's going on. So there's a lot of moving parts, and everything has got to be, sequenced, to make it sure it gets all done when it needs to get done, because every project has a deadline.
How long are you thinking the customs area will take?
The one over here, the one in the terminal?
Yes.
We're hoping to have that done by the end of the year. If not, at the end of the year, beginning of next year. So that's the goal, anyways. And that's we hope to have those contracts awarded. Once we get the contracts awarded, get all the necessary paperwork that goes along with awarding those contracts in place, and get the contractors on site and get them moving so they get the job done. What other questions? Come on. You gotta have some. Come on.
Can I just add on to that? What do you see for this airport once you get customs in here?
The desired hope is that we get some international service out of here. I think there's a demand. There is a demand. There is an interest in it. We've had some discussions with airlines about the potential for providing that service. We think, like the other service that we've brought in here, that started here. That's another one of those services. That's once it begins, it's going to be popular. It's going to be successful. So that's where we're looking to go right now.
Destinations, Mexico.
We're looking at a variety of different destinations right now. I mean, the Caribbean, down Central America, those areas those are certainly locations that we're interested in. It all depends on who we're talking to and what they have to offer. We did have like I said, like Mr. Hall said earlier, we did have we have a contract with a air service development consultant, and they've got some ideas on what we need to be looking at, and we're going to certainly take them up on their ideas and see where it takes us. There's a lot of opportunity.
Which airline is it that has flights most out of here? Has the most flights?
I think Allegiant, as far as they have, as far as destination-wise, because they've got multiple destinations. But I mean, I would say that Spirit does. They had been doing daily flights to Orlando International, and then Fort Lauderdale. But they do those on a kind of seasonal, I would say, but they don't stop them, but they will reduce the frequency, because right now they're going to daily with those flights, but they'll reduce the frequency on those to like 3 times a week going into the summer months, and it's all based on demand. Allegiant will do the same because they do go to Fort Lauderdale, Orlando, Sanford, Punta Gorda, and St. Petersburg. So they'll do the same. They don't go daily, but they'll adjust their frequencies based on demand. And we're on the tail end of the busy time up here. So we're going to go into a kind of a slow period in June, beginning of July, and then it'll pick up again middle of July to end of August, and then September will be pretty slow, and then we'll roll right back into the holiday season in the winter months. And then obviously Spirit does the seasonal in Myrtle Beach, and then Penn Air does their daily flights to Boston. So
So Spirit right now is flying